So what we did here, this is the old part of our grove that's been here for many years. And behind us, or ahead of us here, we have an area that we replanted only 10 years ago with some elm, as well as seedless cottonwood, some evergreens. So it's kind of a work in progress. We've cut some trails here through the woods, and the kids on the ATVs really like cutting through the old part of the woods, especially, you get at night, they're out running around a little bit and have really enjoyed it. So it's all, like I say, a work in progress. We've been planting trees for many years, and it's really turned out well. We just kind of made a path, kind of set out where we wanted to not take down any big trees. So just cutting some brush, flush cutting to the small trees with the chainsaw and clearing out trails just wide enough for the ATV. Then as the years went by, now we have a UTV, so we widened a little bit. So we have it wide enough to go through here with the Ranger.
How far does the trail go?
We have a couple of short ones here through the old part of the woods, and then we also mow paths through the windbreak that surrounds the property as well with the tractor and mower. So we got another path to kind of go around the outside of the farm as well.
How do you keep it up? I mean, do you have to do a lot of cleanup in the spring after the winter?
It's not too bad. We do. There are a few branches will come down over the winter and then clean them up, and then otherwise just mowing, a couple times a year. Try to keep, now we're trying to keep as much natural habitat out here as we can. We even have a doe out here with a little fawn, so we're trying to, like I say, keep it as natural as we can without disturbing too much. But just a little bit of mowing and some picking up branches now keeps it maintained pretty well. Now that, of course, they get older and aren't around quite as much as they were when they were younger, now Jody and I will take the Ranger out, and especially you get to this time of the evening or sunset, and do a little drive through here.
Well, I'm sure that is just a fun thing to do in the evenings or on a weekend, and kind of nice to get away from your job too.
It is. Like you say, it's kind of a haven, and we like it that way, where we can, enjoy our time here, like you say, away from the job and out in the country.
Janice, how was the schoolhouse added to the yard, and why?
Well, my mother went to this school in the 20s, in the 1920s, and they closed the country schools in the 70s. So then it sat there, and I lived on this farm with my kids, and I thought, oh, I really think I should try and get that school. They were selling the land. So I talked to the owners, and I said, would you want to sell me that school? Because they would have destroyed it. And they said yes. So I moved it home, and I was all excited because it was my mother's old schoolhouse. So then I got the bright idea, like in antiques, like my mother did, and my dad, I thought, okay, I'll have country school antiques. So I started looking for antiques in flea markets and auctions and wherever, till I got it pretty much filled with antiques. So that was my fun kind of a at-home hobby.
So was it in pretty good shape, or did you have to do a lot of remodeling?
Well, some put a new roof on it, and it's been painted, so it was so much fun. But 10 years I sold antiques out of it, for 10 years.
How did you move this big building?
I had to hire some professional movers, to move it. And we got the foundation built first, of course. And it wasn't as hard as I thought, because it was only 3 miles from here. It wasn't very far to move. So anyway, it just worked out so slick. It really did, yeah.
So do you have people that actually stop in and say, I went to school here?
Oh, yes, my son has. Yes. When I lived here too, they will say that, yes. And this is District 21 in West Bank Township. And a lot of people, seeing it so close to the road, they see it, I'm sure, too. I don't know if they stop as much now as they did at first, But yeah, it's been a fun thing, I think, for a lot of people.
And I bet people are so happy that it was preserved.
I think so too, because it's really a historic building. It really is, yeah. It's part of our history, the country school.
Now tell us, what is the school used for now?
Being it's a family who lives here, it's just for the kids have fun in it. And my son, I think, has a pool table in there, and it's kind of a recreation when we have family gatherings. The kids just love it. And of course, they like to ring the bell. But it's just fun. It's just a fun thing now, and I'm glad because it's being used for something.
So does the building have heat and electricity too?
Oh yes, it does. It has. It had a little parlor stove, and it had electricity, but on every window you could see where they would hang the kerosene lamps.
And what is it used for now?
Well, that's probably the same thing for the family gatherings. Kids come and play, they run in and out, and they love to ring the bell. And it's like a playhouse, kind of, you know. And they had stoves, of course. And then I've heard some stories that probably the kids would warm their lunch on the stove, you know, sit their sandwich or whatever on the stove in the school and warm them. So I don't know. Then they had a big water cooler. But they must have had wells at the school, because that water cooler sat in the entryway with a little spigot on it, and I think it was made out of a crock, stoneware. And then they'd get their water out of that, but I'm sure they must have had a well, or they wouldn't have had water, you know.
Having warming the lunch up on the stove gives a whole new meaning to hot lunch, doesn't it?
Yeah, there you go, right, right.
So what did they use for light then?
Well, like you see, if you look around, you'll see there's a lot of windows for natural light. And then they also had the small kerosene lamps that kind of would turn on, you know, a holder that would hold them, that they'd light if they needed light. But unless they had a party at night and a program for the parents, then they would probably turn on the electric lights. And also, most of them had a piano, because I think a lot of the teachers probably knew how to play the piano, because I know a lot of them would have a piano too, so they could have a little music. And I don't know if the teacher taught piano. She probably didn't, but she could have. You know, she could have taught piano too. We don't know that, but.
Did they have like Christmas programs and
Yes.
holiday programs
Yes,
too?
Christmas, the kids would dress up, put on a little play, and all of us mothers, see, I was a mother, and my daughter and her son, my son were there. We'd bring some bars, and they'd have a little lunch after, and they'd always put on programs for the parents on special occasions. Yeah, they would.
Well, thank you so much for showing us your school. This was so nice.
Well, you're welcome, Mary. I enjoyed having you here. I really did. This is one of the best parts and the most fun of the school is, of course, ringing the bell.